Oh, okay. It's just like
Yeah. Okay, so you want to look up here, but you can also look on the screen because there's going to be some parts that you really can't see from where you're sitting. Once you have your supplies, you're going to sit at your wheel. Now, you are going to have specific throwing days. Okay, so there's going to be 5 days where you are required to throw. They are already on the calendar. It worked out because of we don't have many days off this quarter, so it's actually like the first week you throw one day, but then all your other days are on the same day. So you throw basically every Monday or every Tuesday. Okay, the list is on the board. The calendar's on the board. At the end of this, you will write down your throwing days, so you'll know exactly when you throw. Okay, when you throw, when it's your throwing day, the way you claim a wheel is by putting a bowl of water at it. Okay, we have 6 wheels. We have 3 manual. These have switches. You just flip it up for high, down for low. Okay, so it goes 1 speed or 2 speeds. The one on the end has a pedal like a car. So the more you push it, the faster it goes. And then we have the 2 kick wheels. I moved this one over, but there's the 2 kick wheels will be back there. You will probably prefer one wheel over another. So if you want to choose your wheel, you need to be here, as soon as you can. And you'll put a bowl of water to claim it. Put a bowl of water on your wheel to claim it. Okay. Some other things you have to think about on your throwing day, other than being here early, is what you're wearing. Okay, and so there is a little section on your notes about that. 3 things you should consider on your throwing day. No skirts. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, whatever. No skirts. As you have to straddle the wheel, so if we're wearing a skirt, that's going to be an issue. Another issue that we have 4th quarter, no slip-on shoes. So like Megan, your shoes would not work. Okay, no flip-flops. You have to have a back to your shoes. So it might be wise if you have an extra pair of tennis shoes just to keep them in your locker this quarter. Okay, that way if you forget, you'll have them. The reason for that is there are 4 of you in each group. So if you end up kicking, okay, if all these wheels are taken, or if you like kicking, you have to have a back on your shoes to kick. If you're kicking and your shoe flies off, you will cut your foot. I've seen it happen before, and blood grosses me out, and I can't handle it, so we're not going to do that. Okay. And the 3rd one, no low-cut tops. Okay, so just kind of a dress code thing, mainly for ladies, but boys, we don't need any V-necks or chest hair showing on your throwing days.
What do you mean by low-cut tops?
Low-cut tops. So just, we were bending over when you throw.
Oh, gotcha.
We don't want to see. Okay, when you're throwing, you will not wear your ID. Okay, you'll take that off. You can't wear a scarf or anything around your neck that's going to hang low. I would also consider putting your hair back. Okay, it's going to be easier. You'll want to take off your jewelry, your rings, your bracelets, your watches, things like that. You want to be comfortable. Okay, and it'll make it a little bit easier. All right, so if you've got your hair in your face, that might be a problem. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is called the bat. It has rings on it like a target, so it shows you where the middle is. Okay. After you wedge your clay, you're going to put it in a ball, and you want to get it as close to the middle as possible. So you're going to hold it above the bat, and you're going to throw it down. Do not stand up and crow hop and throw it as hard as you can at the bat. Okay. You just need to get it to stick, and I didn't get it quite in the middle, so I'm going to move it a little bit. And after you've done that, you're just going to hit it around the sides. Okay. You guys have the steps written down. Take some notes for each step, draw a picture if you want to, something to help you remember, because you will not throw by yourself probably until the week after Easter, so you'll need a refresher. Okay, so you're going to hit this, make it stick, and that's all for that first step. Okay, then you're going to turn your wheel on, or you're going to start kicking. Now the kick wheel is the only wheel where you have to do something with your lower body, which is why I'm showing you how to throw on the kick wheel. You have to kick it and get it as fast as you can, so your dominant leg out, and then you're going to put your foot to the side. You will not kick and throw at the same time. You just have to kick and get it going, and then throw, and then you'll have to kick again and keep going. It's a little bit of a workout, okay? All right, so I have the wheel going. I'm going to add some water. The first and the hardest step is centering, and that's what you have to start with. Centering means getting the clay in the middle of the wheel. So you're going to have one hand on top and one hand on the side, and you're going to push with your side hand. Okay? And I say push with your side hand, but really you're holding your hand still. Okay? If this hand is still, and the clay's not moving it, it's gonna center itself. Okay, right now it's moving. So I am gonna push to get this still, but really I'm just kind of pushing and holding this as still as possible. I'm not letting the clay push my hand. It doesn't matter which hand is on top. Okay, so you can go this way. It's just preference. But notice my hands are working together. My hands are a team. They're always going to be working together. You're never gonna just be like hanging out here. I also want you to notice my body. I've scooted back a little bit. My elbows are on my legs. Okay, you have to use your whole body when you throw. If I'm up here with my elbows out, I have no control over my hands. Okay, but if I have them tucked into my body, then I have more control. So you'll hear me say a lot, elbows down. And I just mean put your elbows on your legs. This is a little bit tall for some people, so if you can't reach your legs, then just have your hands resting on this back part. Okay. All right, so I'm centering. I'm pushing with my side hand. Can you see one of them? And I'm trying to get this right in the middle. We'll know it's centered when it's not, when my hand's not moving. So is my hand moving right now? Mm-hmm. Yes, so I'm not quite centered. Okay, when it's centered, it's not gonna look like it's moving at all because it will be perfectly in the middle. Centering takes a long time. It's very frustrating, okay? There's a couple things you can do to help sort of reset your clay if you're centering and centering and centering and it's not working. You can do what's called cycling the clay. So you can take your palms and you can push up slowly. Oohs and ahs are completely acceptable during this demonstration. So I can pull this up and then I can push it back down. I'm going to push it down with this part of my hand. Okay, so I'm pushing with like the bottom of my thumbs. And when I get about to the height when I was centering, I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to start pushing with my side hand. And as I'm pushing, like I said, you have to hold that hand still. You don't want that hand to move. So as I'm going down to get my hands back to where I was centering, I'm going to make sure this hand does not move. So it's like a wall. So when that clay hits my hand, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, I push this down, and then I'm just going to push with my left hand, and I'm not going to let that clay move me. And I have some extra clay here, so I'm going to take that off. Notice I'm stopping and kicking every 2 seconds, it feels like. But you have to stop and kick because you want this to be going pretty quick. Okay, and then you're back to centering, and you'll be pushing here. So am I moving now? Just a tiny little bit, but I'm pretty close to centered here. When you are centering, I have a lot of students that try to push back here. That's not going to help you. You're pushing right at the side, okay? You're also pushing with your palms. I'm not really using my fingers. If I'm using fingers, I'm going to get ridges in the side. So if you do have some like lines, that means you're using your fingers. You're using the flat part of your palm. It may take you an entire skinny to center. Okay, it takes a lot of practice. All right, we're going to move forward though because we're pretty well centered here. Okay, I'm out of breath already. So you're centered. Also, the steps are on that beam up there if you do get stuck. Okay, so when you're throwing, you'll swing these wheels out and you'll actually be facing the classroom. So you'll have some reminders, and then you'll also have the notes you're taking today. All right, so I'm centered. Okay, my next step is the pilot hole. Okay, if you've ever worked with wood or anything, you know that a pilot hole is a hole that you drill before you put a screw in. It helps guide the screw. Okay, same here, same with the throwing. You're gonna put a little bit of a divot in your pot so you can find the middle before you actually dig down. So I'm going to take my hands. Remember, my hands are always working together. Okay, I'm going to put them on the sides. I'm not pushing right now. I'm just using it sort of as a resting spot. Okay, I'm going to take my hands. I have them here. My elbows are down. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a divot with my thumbs in the middle. And that's it for the pilot hole. Okay, just like a little 1/4 of an inch divot. Okay, also when you're throwing, anytime you have clay sticking to your hands, that means you're not using enough water. So you're constantly adding water to your clay. Okay. All right, so any left-handers in here? Lefties, perfect. Okay, now it switches to like a dominant hand, non-dominant hand thing, so you'll be opposite. I'm right-handed. You will take your dominant hand and you're gonna dig down with 2 fingers. Now, remember I said your hands have to work together, so you're not gonna like sit here and dig. You're gonna be hunched over still. You do not have good posture when you're throwing, okay? You're gonna use your non-dominant hand to the side, and this is just gonna be like a support system for your right hand. Your thumbs are gonna touch, and you're gonna pop your wrist up and dig straight down with 2 fingers. Okay, so I'm gonna dig down, and you can see I have some clay that's coming out. I'm taking some away. I'm gonna stop, kick. Okay, you want about 1/2 of an inch on the bottom. So now you're thinking, how do I know if I have 1/2 an inch on the bottom? I will show you. Stop the wheel. Okay, so I think I have about 1/2 of an inch on the bottom. I'm going to take my needle tool, stab until I hit the bat. Okay, so I went through. Then I'm going to take my finger and then slide it until I hit clay, and I'm going to take the whole thing out. All right, so I'm here. This is how much clay is left. All right, so I might dig just a little bit deeper, but that's a good way to tell. Okay, if you're stuck, do not do that while the wheel is moving. You will put a hole in the bottom of your pot. Okay, the little hole that I just put in there is going to cover itself up while I'm throwing, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, if it's a little bit tall, you can use 3 fingers if you need to. I'm just gonna dig a little bit further. Okay, so we have dug the middle. What is it called? Yeah. After you've done that, we need to open it up. So right now, I don't know if you can see very well, but the middle of my pot, because I just put 2 fingers straight down. So the middle of my pot is shaped like a V. Okay, so I just had 2 fingers, I went straight down. So it's kind of a V shape. We want the inside to have parallel walls, so we want to make it look like a U. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 2 fingers back in here, and they're going to be kind of slanted because it's a V. And I'm going to start with the tip of my fingers, and I'm going to start pulling with the tip of my fingers until I feel clay all the way on my fingers, okay, straight up and down. So if I put them back in here, if I put them in the hole and I start pulling like this, then eventually the walls will be up and down. Again, my non-dominant hand is going to be my teammate. My thumbs are going to be touching. So I have 2 fingers. I'm going to put 3 fingers in here because my pot's a little bit tall. And now with the tip of my finger, I'm going to pull towards me. And I'm going to open the middle up. You have to go really slow. Okay, now the inside of my pot is straight up and down. And that's what we're going for. Can you tell up there? No. Okay. So now I have walls that are straight up and down the outside, walls that are straight up and down on the inside. Okay. Every pot that you make is going to start with a cylinder, so that's why we want it to be straight up and down. Okay.